Employees of IKEA, what are some of the worst family meltdowns you have seen? Obligatory, I don't and have never worked at IKEA. Hell, this story isn't about inside of IKEA, it's about the IKEA car park. A few years back, my wife sent me to IKEA on a Saturday. I mean, we all know that IKEA turns into some real Lord of the Flies type shit on the weekend, because it's like every fucker descends on the place and it's every fucker for themselves. You just know that some poor bastard is going to be piggy and get his brains bashed in by a cheap yet tastefully designed table lamp in a heated argument. And the car park, what can I say? That fucking thing fills up at around 10:30 am and it's like everybody parks there for the entire fucking day. So there are just cars that spend hours and hours cruising around looking for that one free space. Even if it means it's so tight that they can't open the doors and have to exit the car from the rear tailgate or by kicking out the rear window. But me, I'm smart. I get there early. I have planned for this trip all week ever since my wife uttered the words "I need you to go to IKEA on the weekend. Here's the list of things I want." So I get there early and I manage to get everything on the list. It's all there and I have found every item in the storage area and I put it all in my cart. I make it to the checkouts without once having to look menacingly at a single person. But at the car park, that's a different story. I'm busy packing stuff in the car and it's a lot of stuff. My electric screwdriver at home is charged and ready for an afternoon of building flat pack furniture. But still, it's taking some finagling to get all of the stuff into our car. And somebody has noticed that there is a parking space that is about to become free. They are waiting. They've been waiting for 5 minutes. He beeps his horn. Just a little polite beep. I gesture to the boxes that I have still to place in my car. I pack. I shift things around. I curse. He beeps his horn a couple of more times, somehow managing to convey that he is getting somewhat impatient. I smile at him. Gesture to my furniture. I finally have it all loaded. Carefully check that I can close the back of my car. He toots his horn again. I look at him and he gestures for me to get a move on. I'm less than pleased at his gesturing and impatience. It offends me mightily. I slowly saunter back with my cart to the nearby bay. I walk back over. He toots his horn again. 4 long presses of get a fucking move on. I get in my car and reverse out to the left. His car is behind me. He has to move back a bit, so I get my car fully out. I see him in my rearview mirror gesticulating angrily at me to his wife. He toots his horn again. Fuck this. Where I'm parked is near a junction and I'm facing towards it. A car slowly comes around the corner at the junction. I sit there in my car, waiting. The car in front of me stops. I gesture for him to take the space. He does. The guy behind me goes absolutely fucking mental, honking his horn. I can see him in my rearview mirror getting out of his car. I roll down my window and give him the internationally recognized sign of fuck you and drive off. Oh karma, you big, curvy, full-breasted and beautiful bitch. Oh, how I love thee. **edit***. Just last night, a literal minute before closing, I had a woman come upstairs looking for a nightstand. After wandering away from me guiding her, it took her children and I shouting at her to try and get her attention back before she made her way to nightstands. I start showing her options and her 10 to 12-year-old children start dive bombing every single freshly made bed. I ask them to stop with varying degrees of politeness, and when that doesn't work, ask her to please stop them. Instead she just offers an apology and gets back to nightstands. So she's looking for the biggest possible one, and that's the Hornsand, a $129 monstrosity that looks like something you'd drag out of a baby boomer's house after their untimely demise. She's giving me a lot of haggard sighs, looking around desperately and criticizing the features of the nightstand at hand. I've given up the idea of containing her kids, so I have to take the full brunt of her passive-aggressive disappointment. She keeps giving me this face, like I'm supposed to pull back a book on the belly revealing a secret department of all the good furniture. You know, she offers, I'd buy this in a heartbeat if it came in grey. What am I supposed to do with that? Pat her on her witter head and to her I will make it grey foul hue. Instead I just her, that was a real shame. After a few more questions, including the size of a "normal nightstand," She gives up and agrees to leave. While walking her and the hellions out, she asks where's a fun place to stay. Upon asking for clarification, she makes it clear that it's spring break for her kids. They're from the next state over and she hasn't found a place for them to stay by 9 PM because every nice hotel is charging too much because everyone else is on spring break too. Now she's refusing to get on the elevator going down until I make a decent recommendation. So I'm furiously googling hotels so this mad woman will leave. Eventually we find a place nearby with a water slide and that was enough for her to leave, but I was 113% done with everyone in the family. Currently in IKEA making the most of my complimentary cups of tea. The couple at the next table over just had a brilliant argument about whether or not they could put a TV in their bathroom. He thinks it will fit. Wife/girlfriend thinks it's the stupidest fucking idea ever. They don't need it. It won't fit. And if he wants to do that then he can move back in with his mother. And he keeps asking her to give him half of her Dane cake. After about 5 minutes of whining she told him if wanted some he should have bought one because apparently he always does this. I might follow them around the rest of the shop to see what else happens. Update. Couple didn't kill me for stalking them. I just ran out of battery. I followed them for a while before I found it way too awkward / the caffeine from 4 complimentary cups of tea kicked in and I needed to get out of there. I left them in soft furnishing / textiles. He was back playfully throwing pillows at her to get her attention. She turned around and said, scarily calmly, I know that you think you're being funny, but you're not. So if you're going to act like a child I will treat you like a child. Start behaving like an adult or we'll leave now and I'll take away yours box for a week. He pouted and marched off, muttering under his breath, IKEA Bristol lady, if you're out there, I hope he grows up and also I really like the peacock blue pillow you bought. Also to answer the many questions about free tea, I live in the UK and if you're a IKEA card holder you get free tea and coffee Monday to Friday. Updates on updates. Dudes, I get it. Some of you find it funny to throw pillows at your sows. But ask yourself 1. Did they find it funny too? And 2. Did they repeatedly ask you to stop? I worked at IKEA almost 10 years ago in the returns department. I have experienced quite a bit of shit in the 2+ years I worked there. It's funny how often the same situations come up, like the metal crossbeam for the bed getting bent after heavier couples have sex on their cheap IKEA beds. Most people would come in and try to have an excuse for what bent their crossbeam, but sometimes we'd get honest people who would just straight out say yeah, IKEA beds aren't built for sex. But as far as meltdowns are concerned, they happened often. DIY furniture building results in a lot of stress. Here is a rundown of my most memorable customer meltdown. A man in his late 20s and his fiancée in her late 20s show up in the returns area. It was a peak day at IKEA, super busy, wait times of 45 minutes or more in the returns department. We had giant signs notifying customers to take a number and you would be called when the next coworker is available. Well, this couple was sitting there for approximately 30 minutes when the lady just screams, "Are you fucking kidding me? I needed to grab a number." Somehow she missed the signs or the fact for 30 minutes we had been calling people up via a number queuing system similar to the DMV. I was the most senior employee at the returns counter that day and all of my supervisors were off helping in the cash lanes, so I had to handle this situation. I walked up to her and politely explained the queuing system and let her know that we'll take care of her after the person who arrived just before her, even though she forgot to grab a number. My mistake was using the word forgot. She just unloaded on me at that point, screaming at the top of her lungs, kicking over our queuing ticket machine, and just being fucking crazy. All this over what amounted to a $20 return. I attempted to give her the option to go enjoy a free cinnamon roll and a drink while we get to her in the queue, and she still continued screaming at me. During this entire thing her fiancé was completely silent and had a look on his face that this is a frequent occurrence and he was just waiting for it to end. This went on for over 5 minutes. What made this event so significant was what happened next. I asked her to leave the store if she couldn't behave and notified her that I was going to call my manager. The lady tried to physically push me when I turned around to pick up my phone. Then she started screaming, "You inept piece of shit," over and over. A random customer stood up and said, "Bitch, get the fuck out of IKEA. This is a place for families, you fucking cunt." He then turns to her fiance and says, "And you, what the fuck, man? What kind of fucking moron sits back and lets his girl make a fool out of herself like that? Fuck you, man." The lady threw her stuff to the ground and ran off, kicking over potted plants and other things along her way. Several customers in line clapped, and a couple thanked me for not rewarding her shit behavior by letting her cut the line, as that was clearly her goal. I never saw her again. The entire encounter had me pretty shook up, and if it wasn't for that guy, who knows how much worse it would have gotten. Edit. For those asking, all the fiance guy said after being confronted was "okay, sorry." Those were his only words spoken through this entire thing. Double edit. A lot of people really struggle to believe that 3 to 5 people out of 20 plus people in line for returns would clap in such a situation. Not sure where you people live that this doesn't happen, but in Utah, where this happened, people love to start a round of applause. Go to the movies, someone will likely start clapping during the credits. In a meeting at work, someone will start clapping. It's just part of the culture here, and I assume it's not unique here. Utah is a very passive-aggressive place. People rarely speak up in these situations. But when someone does, others will clap. It just happens. I was once at a movie with some friends and a dude would not put his cell phone away. It was out for 20 minutes and nobody said or did anything. I finally shouted, "Put your phone away." Multiple people yelled "yeah," and 2 people did a quick 5 seconds of clapping. It's how people show support around here. Bonus story. This didn't happen to me, but I was there when it happened. A customer went through self-checkout with a $3,000 couch, but put a label for a $600 couch on it. The employee at the self-checkout completely missed this, and he got through. The person then loaded the couch onto their truck and got the fuck out of there as fast as they could. IKEA is right along the I-15 freeway. As soon as they got on the freeway, the couch fell out and onto the road. It completely destroyed the couch. 15 minutes later, the guy came back and tried to do a no receipt exchange. He tried to blame the employee who helped him secure it. Footage found that no employee helped him secure it. He did it on his own in 60 seconds flat. The self-checkout employee remembered him coming through 15 minutes earlier, so they pulled the receipt to find out what the real deal was with this guy. That's when the pieces were put together. When his refund was refused, he was told to leave now and that he's not welcome back at IKEA. Got off easy, and my supervisor called him on his scam. He then threatened my supervisor and said he was going to take him out to the parking lot and fucking settle this. My boss handled the whole thing like a champ until the police could show up. I don't know what happened after, or if or how IKEA prosecuted him. That dude was the craziest customer I ever witnessed in my years at the store. IKEA can bring out the worst in people. Girlfriend woke me up the day after a company drinking event. She said, "Let's go get breakfast." In my mind, I'm thinking, fantastic, I'll get some food in me, then head home and pass out. We drive to IKEA. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking, okay, well, good cheap breakfast works for me. Nope. We proceeded to get a cart and walk through the store. My brain, still not fully functioning, starts going, okay, well, we need like one thing. She'll just write the code down and we will get it real quick. An hour later, my hangover has gone from "hey, there's a little bit of construction in the back" to "we are going to need to drill underneath the slab." I'm balancing off the shopping cart like an old man with a walker, trying to keep it together while stomach is doing handstands inside me. Now I will say that I love my sew, but we had stopped at every display to talk over about it like it was museum art, and I was starting to lose it. So is having a grand time looking, touching, and sitting on things. She's trying to get me all pumped for all the stuff we are going to have to build. Little chairs, desks, bookcases. I'm not even focused on any of it. No food in me, slow walking around shouting children, PA speakers blaring about curtains. We finally get to the couch section, and she is taking her sweet time choosing the right fabric. She's holding up swatches and asking about different colors and the statement that it would make about us. At this point, I'm thinking I'm going to die standing right here after I shit my pants in IKEA talking about couch colors. Can we grab food now? It's past close to 10:30, let's just wait until lunch. To be clear, my civil composure was being held together by the thought of food, and now I just learned that was not happening. She holds up a swatch of pale goldenrod and asks for my opinion. The veins in my head feel like they are pumping molasses. Goldenrod? Are you kidding me? You choose the ugliest color of a list of 10. How did you even manage that? Get the dark blue and let's go already. People around me audibly gasped at me. Did you hear what he just said to that poor woman? Etc. etc. My girlfriend looks at me and goes, what the fuck is wrong with you? I just want some eggs and bacon. I'm on the verge of tears. My girlfriend looks at me and I could see that there is a sudden moment of clarity in her eyes. Wait, are you hungover? I'm past hungover. I'm dying. Get the couch in whatever color you want. Just bury me on the way out. OMG, I had no idea. She took me by the arm and led me out. I got 2 egg McMuffins, 2 hash browns, coffee and a 5-hour nap. We later ordered the couch for delivery with dark blue covers and a second goldenrod cover. My GF and I have a rule: no IKEA on hangovers. I have one on my own. 2 years ago, my now husband and I rented a 2-bedroom apartment with a mutual friend as a roommate. This is the first time I've had a place of my own, not a dorm / not living with family, and the first time my so and I were living together. The one thing I dreamed of was finally having a computer desk. I'm a writer, and for years I had to use a lap desk on my bed, and it was far from ideal. Our new place had a small office, so I was daydreaming about the setup and decor, searching for hours online for desks and chairs. My son knew how important this was to me. So imagine my reaction when our roommate moves in a week after us and, surprise, brings his own computer desk. Okay, I think we'll work something out because roommate will have it in his room. Surely he didn't assume we'd fit all 3 of our desks in a tiny office space, right? I try to explain to roommate how important a writing space is to me. I can't work while they're both gaming in a cramped office. He agrees to get a woofy thing for his desk and move his setup to his room. I thank him, thinking it's settled. But no, he only moved his computer to his room, not the desk. So my so and I go to IKEA for the 2nd time that week, and at this point I'm in denial and stubborn as hell, because no way is my one dream of a desk space in jeopardy because of roommate's desk, right? I rationalize the whole way to IKEA how surely roommate's desktop computer will be in his small room. He never said he had a desk, and what does he need it for? Maybe it can go in the huge closet we have to store it. His computer is in his room anyway, etc. etc. My husband is being tight-lipped in my desperate attempt to justify the desk of my dreams and trying to tell me to lower my expectations as kindly as possible against my in denial / stubborn ass. We get to the desks and the ones I had my eyes on are child size or don't work for whatever reason. Then another one I considered was just awesome. So many shelves for my writing reference books and knickknacks. I fall in love, but my tunnel vision fails to realize how big it actually is. So tried to talk me out of it. It's too big, too bulky. If roommate has his desk in the office it will never fit. Even if it just me and my so's desk it may not fit. I'm silently fuming, arguing with him in a hush, because oh my god we are one of those couples in IKEA right now. I'm overwhelmed I had to face the loss of my dream right there. My so, bless him, we walked out of that store with that big beautiful desk. Surprise, ensue awkward conversation with roommate a day later how he isn't moving his desk. I have to get a smaller one. Dreams crushed. 2 days later we return the desk, and I come home with a $40 skinny glass top desk barely wide enough to fit my laptop. The kicker? 2 years later, and roommate never uses his desk. Husband and I are looking at houses now. I worked at the newly opened IKEA in Indiana. Generally, I'm outside helping load cars. I would say that I'm the source of preventing meltdowns such as will you stop standing there and fucking help me to the classic how did we buy so much shit when our car is so small, or my favorite I think we should've left the kids at home. This job, combined with my endless hours of Tetris, makes the job fairly easy. However, you always get those wives who when asked for help answer, "My husband is coming," or even macho husbands who when asked for help say, "No thanks bud, I think I've got it," only for you to see them a few minutes later struggling while their wife and children watch, which by the way, is my pet peeve. If you're there to buy things, for the love of God be a team and help one another. Don't just stand there with a pillow and say nothing. The best meltdown I saw one day was when I was actually inside, being a cashier, and helping a couple with their first trip to IKEA. They weren't sure how full serve handout, where the big ass items come from, works or how to order those items. Clearly frustrated, after explaining it to them, they left in a huff and went to get their things ordered. Keep in mind, it wasn't busy or crazy as it was a Monday night. I left my cashier post as I was only there to help out in a rush and went back outside to organize the loading area and help more people load their cars. Everyone outside is good to go, and so I decide to go on break. A few minutes before closing time I come back, and lo and behold it is the same couple trying to figure out how to fit a sectional into their Jeep. There are things being tossed and words being shouted, but I try not to listen. I walk across strewn boxes and wrapping plastic they have torn apart in an attempt to get everything to fit and ask them politely if they would like some help. They make eye contact and realize it is me but graciously accept. An excellent move. I easily get everything packed up and fit in such a way they can all sit comfortably and everything is packing in nice and tight. I have never seen such a gracious customer who violently shook my hand and said under his breath, "You just saved me from a fight with my wife. Thanks badge name." I say no problem dude, you know what they say, IKEA is an experience. I chuckle as I walk away to go and clock out. I work in the back of an IKEA in the full serve department. My department's primary responsibilities are to pull large item orders for people. This includes couches, kitchens, wardrobes and pretty much anything that's worth the premium people pay for my labor. So it's a peak day during a kitchen event, cash back on a kitchen, so they're getting heavy discounts, like 30%, and everyone's getting kitchens, which are about 5 carts worth of items, between 80 and 400 items across the store, and usually total a hefty amount of weight, about 1000 lbs. My department is pretty small, since we need to use forklifts we have to get trained on special equipment, so we make more, and are chronically understaffed, like 5 people on the busiest days of the year. Everyone's working on a kitchen, and they're piling up on the board. Somebody apparently didn't get the memo that lots of people have been ordering them, and he's already been at IKEA for hours. It takes about 3 hours to get through the store not counting waiting in line to order the kitchen. The guy apparently came from a ways away and didn't understand how queuing works. The estimated wait time for his order exceeded an hour, and to be honest him getting a couple hundred pieces in an hour would be nothing short of a miracle. 15 minutes pass and he's getting pissed off. The handout girl winds up ducking into my department because this tool is mean mugging her. The guy's already fuming and getting pissed off. Eventually after about 40 minutes we manage to get started on his order. Of course handout has to go back to her station, where the guy is livid about the wait time and blue he had to come from 2 hours away to get this. No one cares. Most people did. Pro tip, ordering to your house is cheap relative to how much it would cost to rent a U-Haul and drive to IKEA and back home. So, 50 minutes passes and of course this guy wants to talk to the manager. The manager pops out to basically just tell him what everyone else did and to leave and do something else if he's that bent out of shape about waiting. Dude wasn't so bad talking to the manager, because if he started yelling like he did with handout girl he'd be thrown out of the store. Weird that level of self-control someone who's acting like a 6-year-old can have. So, the kitchen the guy got was an older kitchen that we wound up discontinuing a lot of the items for, and an inventory discrepancy meant that one of the cabinets wasn't on the shelf and needed to be oversold. The guy had already been making a big stink, so handout was a little nervous. We explain ordering and how sometimes we are missing an item or two, and the volumes moved meant that we didn't have the drawer front and we'd need to special order it to him. Royal Randy is displeased, but ready to just do TFO, so he concedes, and we roll the order out to the car. The outside crew is in disarray because they need to collect carts for everyone, and we don't have enough for the store, and this guy wants help loading, so one of us has to go outside. My buddy Jay is loading and quickly realizes that this guy didn't get enough space for the whole kitchen. Apparently the guy was fighting with his wife the whole time they were outside about whether or not everything would fit. As soon as they decide it won't fit they come in, and the guy starts going off on returns. They try to sell the delivery, but dude isn't having it. It's going to be like $200 bucks on a $4K kitchen. So, lo and behold, it gets processed through returns and we have to put it all back, midday on a peak day. What a guy. Managed to spend at least 8 hours of his life on nothing. Thank you so much for watching the whole video. Please leave a like and subscribe.